Am I only the one who saw that video?
South Africa has two choices. You can either continue to support the Palestinian cause, in which case they will wage war on you, or you can give up the Palestinian cause.
We are being threatened.
South Africa has been one of the most vocal supporters of Palestine on the world stage. They've taken Israel to the International Court of Justice. They've been consistent in their language. Their stance is not subtle. So when those planes arrived with Palestinians on board, people jumped straight to the accusation. If you support them so strongly, why aren't you welcoming them? It sounds like a gotcha. But it only makes sense if you believe political solidarity and immigration policy are the same thing. They're not. And pretending they are is how states get quietly manipulated into situations they did not authorize. What happened in reality was this. 2 charter flights landed in South Africa, one in late October, one on the 14th of November. 329 people in total. Not thousands, not a mass airlift, 2 planes. These were not part of a government program. Home Affairs did not organize them. Border management was not briefed. Even the Palestinian embassy said the whole thing was arranged by an unregistered organization acting outside official channels. That alone should make anyone pause. These passengers did not just escape on their own. They exited Gaza through Israeli-controlled crossings. They flew out of Ramon Airport in Israel. They transited through Nairobi before landing in Johannesburg. So multiple authorities opened doors along the chain. But notice where the outrage landed. On the last country in line, South Africa. Many of the passengers had documents, but many had no Israeli exit stamps, no confirmed accommodation, no declared length of stay, and no asylum applications prepared. That's why they were held on the plane for hours after landing. Not because South Africa suddenly hates Palestinians, but because any state that allows its borders to be used as a testing ground for opaque migration pipelines loses control of its own sovereignty. Eventually, 130 people were admitted under South Africa's 90-day visa exemption after local organizations guaranteed support. Some others flew on to third countries. Since then, the government has made it clear no more charter flights like this will be allowed to land while the investigations are ongoing. And suddenly, people call that hypocrisy. But here's the difference people keep dodging. South Africa supports Palestinians politically. It does not owe legitimacy to private organizations monetizing displacement. Because yes, let's say this part out loud, families reportedly paid up to $2,000 per person to get on those planes, including children. When people start paying to flee a conflict, you're no longer talking about pure humanitarian evacuation. You're talking about a market. And markets don't care about dignity. They care about demand. Even the Palestinian Authority warned people to be careful of what they call agents of displacement, meaning people who profit from moving Palestinians out, while everyone argues about whether it's rescue or removal. And that brings me to another thing people love saying. Wherever Palestinians go, violence follows. Look at Jordan, look at Lebanon. That gets thrown around like it's a fact of nature, but it's a very lazy one. History does not show that Palestinians bring violence. It shows what happens when a stateless, traumatized population is placed into already fragile political systems with unresolved conflicts and armed factions. In Jordan, the crisis came from the PLO becoming a state within a state. In Lebanon, Palestinians did not destabilize a stable country. They entered one already torn apart by sectarian politics and foreign intervention. That's not ethnicity. That's structure. Statelessness, trauma, militant politics, weak state systems. Put that combination anywhere and you get instability with anyone. Which is exactly why South Africa is cautious. Not racist. Cautious. because they're already dealing with unemployment, housing pressure, service delivery crisis, and internal migration tensions from neighboring countries. This isn't about refusing Palestinians. It's about refusing to import a complex, unresolved political problem through an unregulated migration corridor. And here's the part people really don't like examining. Why South Africa? Why not Egypt? Why not Jordan? Why not Saudi Arabia or the Gulf states? Because those countries are already inside the conflict zone's blast radius. They already carry millions of Palestinian refugees and have explicitly rejected mass relocation from Gaza because they see it as permanent displacement. South Africa, on the other hand, is politically supportive, geographically distant, symbolically powerful, and legally easier to pressure without immediate regional consequences. It was not chosen randomly. It was chosen because it was useful, narratively, politically, symbolically. A country with apartheid history, receiving people from another long-standing conflict. You could not script that if you tried. So this isn't just about compassion. It's about optics, strategy, and who is expected to absorb the consequences of a displacement system nobody wants to officially own. And to those who will say, but under international law, they should take refugees. Let's be clear. Refugee protection is meant to be handled through structured international frameworks, not private operators charging vulnerable families thousands of dollars and landing planes first and explaining later. State consent still matters. Otherwise, any organization could just charter a plane, pick a sympathetic country, and dare them to refuse. That's not humanitarianism. That's pressure politics. And then there's the future question everyone avoids. If this corridor was built once, it can be built again. And if Gaza slowly empties through voluntary exits that people have to pay for, history will ask who helped build that conveyor belt and who refused to be part of it. This isn't about hating Palestinians. They are victims of a geopolitical disaster they did not design. This is about refusing to let that disaster be packaged, sold, and distributed through shadowy systems while governments pretend they were surprised. 2 flights, 329 people, a paid corridor created without full transparency, now grounded. Not because South Africa stopped supporting Palestine, but because they refused to be used as the final stop in a process nobody wants to publicly admit that they're part of. And here's the real question people should be asking. Not why South Africa paused it, but who built the corridor in the first place, and where are they planning to shift it to next?
Am I only the one who saw that video?
South Africa has 2 choices. You can either continue to support the Palestinian cause, in which case they will wage war on you, or you can give up the Palestinian cause.
We are being threatened. Like, by Pressùrè, labantu, ne? It's fine, ne? Let's talk about this now, ne? Ramaphosa, bachikise, man. Bachikise labantu laba, man. Bachikise. Send them back. Uyabona, manje uqale impi angeke uyiqede or uqale impi esingayifuni thina. Asilwi nabo, bro, send them back. Kwenzakalani? Ufuna ukuthi la eSouth Africa kufane neGaza, like kufane neGaza, like what happened to Gaza? Did you see those areas, those buildings? I mean, man, iCape Town yethu man izo bidlika phansi naphezulu. Phosa jikisa labantu laba. Ngathi manje bazosilethela iproblem bajikise. And please, that plane ayikhanseliwe ukuthi ingafiki la. Kwenzakala Ramaphosa mara.